Chuck was one of the people who helped build what the Don't Unfriend Me show has become, alongside so many others in this incredible community. His generosity, encouragement, and belief in our mission helped turn an idea into something much bigger. While Chuck may no longer be with us, his impact remains. Every broadcast from this studio stands as a reminder of a man who gave selflessly and made a difference. His legacy will live on through the show and through the countless lives he touched. God bless and keep him. Until Valhalla, my friend. Bigger, better, faster, more. It all started with just a vote. A single choice in a sea of millions. And suddenly, people we loved vanished. Godparents to our children, lifelong friends, all gone with just a click. With a comment, with silence. That's when the seed was planted. Don't Unfriend Me wasn't just a name, it was a plea, a line in the sand, a refusal to let politics tear apart what humanity once held so sacred. We didn't set out to build a movement. We set out to tell the truth, even when it hurt. Long hours, lost sleep, more setbacks than anyone will ever see. There were days it felt like we were shouting into the void, but we kept showing up. Not for clicks, not for clout, but because this matters. We pushed through the doubt, the algorithm throttling, the shadow bans, the isolation, the nights we sat at the mic with empty inboxes and broken spirits, and still, we stayed. We persevered, because we knew there was something here worth fighting for. For years, thousands of hours, laughter, heartache, raw conversations with real people, and now, it all leads to this. One night, one room, one moment. We can agree, we can disagree. You can love me, or you can hate me. Just don't unfriend me. It all starts right now.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop unfriend me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dude.
Hello everyone, good morning. Brandon from Still Point. Just wanted to give you guys an update on everything going on. Give a big hell yeah to Matt Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. The Barry Morgenstein photo shoot. There's Leroy. Look at him, looking great. Olivia looking stunning as always. Look at there, baby. Rocking the lid. Barry has done photo shoots with kings, presidents, the Pope, rock and roll royalty, Jimi Hendrix. Come on now. It's so awesome that our music is finally catching on after all this time. And you know we're going to always keep on rocking in the free world, baby. Make sure you tune in to the Don't Unfriend Me show every weeknight at 7 p.m. EST. The new stuff is dropping on all platforms very soon. We got it uploaded now, but we're getting on the Spotify playlist. You know how you have to do that. So be on the lookout for that. Go download it. Go support Still Point. And go support the Don't Unfriend Me show. Matt, Leroy, Olivia, Amy, we love you guys. Ethan, baby, we love you. And we will see you all soon. We're getting everything ready. And it's going to be badass. We'll see you on the stage soon. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Oh, hello there. Come closer. No, closer. Thank you. It's wonderful to see you here today. Just a little light reading. I want to show you something. Right here, The Don't Unfriend Me Show. Closer. Can you see it? That's right. The Don't Unfriend Me Show. In rock and soul. Save your soul by picking it up today. Thank you. And be cool, like the Don't Unfriend Me Show. It's not my fault. You got to admit, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right. Okay. Barry and I everyone was laughing pretty hard at that video, and I was sitting around, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I just got out of the shower, and I was like, what if we did a Charles Dickens style commercial for Barry? Because I kept seeing all these like celebrities like Billy Bob Thornton and all this other crap, holding up the book. I'm like, well, I haven't done it for him yet. I should do it for him. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to make a video. I guess the publisher loved it. And I sent it to Ryan Weaver and I told him, game on. Get your shit together. Folks, last night was amazing. We were at 72. Listen, I looked for a pipe and I was like, God, do I have a smoking jacket? No, I don't. Signatures last night were 72. We wound up getting 7 extra signatures last night. So now we're moving it to 85. We contacted usafacts.org and I just said, hey, if I can do one final push, can we hold it for one more night or two? And they're like, you know what? Do it. So we're doing it. We're going to hold it another night. If you haven't had a chance, go over to thedumbshow.com/facts. Essentially, it's just sending a petition to Congress to tell them to get data that is paid for by you, John Q. taxpayer, and Jane C. taxpayer, to get out there and get that information faster and disseminate it quicker to the general public and John Q. public. So it's a fantastic initiative. Go to thedumbshow.com/facts to learn more. And then all you gotta do is put your email address in and your name and then hit enter, and that's it. And, if you've got multiple family members in the house or friends who want to help out, please do. I'd love to get to 85 tonight. Anyway, let's get on with the show. And we'll do that. Actually, one more time with Barry. We got to do it. Oh, hello there. Come closer. No, closer. Thank you. It's wonderful to see you here today. Just a little light reading. I want to show you something. Right here. The Don't Unfriend Me Show. Closer. Can you see it? That's right. The Don't Unfriend Me Show. In rock and soul. Save your soul by picking it up today. Thank you. And be cool, like the Don't Unfriend Me Show. So stupid.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, everybody? I am alone tonight. Just me and myself and I and you. We had Garrett Saldano on. That was a great show. Last night was a fun show, too. That was good. Lisa Regina on the 21st. And Barry Morgenstein, good friend, July 24th. John David Gregory. Chris Martini. That's going to be a fun show. And then Tyler Fish is going to be on. We've also got Chad Prather booked. Seriously. Like, not in my life did I ever think we would book Chad Prather. Or Ty the Fish, or any of the people that we do. Really some cool thing is Olivia is, how's Leroy feeling? Now he's better. He's not feeling better. He's getting through it. We think he has long COVID. His kidneys are better. He's just struggling, man. He's tired. He's constantly having to work. We're letting him rest and recuperate. He'll be back. Same with Amy. Listen, we're in a state of flux right now. We understand it. Luckily, we have a lot of guest books booked and a lot of good things to look forward to. So let's get to it tonight. Not much different. Pretty much the same as always, except for $300 on the board. And you're going to see something called overtime, which is right down there. Overtime means that we're going to stay on an extra half hour if we hit goal before 9 o'clock. So last night was perfect. We got to stop. We didn't talk about donations hardly at all. It was really quick and easy. People just went ahead and did it. got the overtime. I think we hit goal at 8:30. We can do that again. That just makes our lives so much easier, and we don't have to talk about the stupid goal drive. So help donate to the show, $1, $10, doesn't matter. And every time you do, you'll see this little green bar go up. And then when you see the phallic nature of that thermometer completely to the full, that means we're going to be on for an extra half hour. If we don't hit it by 9 o'clock, we won't be. So that is pretty much the way that works. Hope you guys understand it. Makes sense. Should be easy. Now let's get to the show. So I did a video today on Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Clarence Thomas. And I had made a post previously that I felt that I had to expand a little bit on, because people seem to misunderstood that I somehow don't like Amy Coney Barrett or want her to resign simply because she struggled with some of the threats that she received, especially early on with the Roe decision and everything else. Now, no, that's not what I said at all. In fact, I completely disagree. I think Amy Coney Barrett, surprisingly enough, has followed the Constitution to the letter. I don't know if I necessarily agree that she followed it when it came to birthright citizenship. I think that the Constitution, well, she followed it to what the Constitution originally was meant for. And I think her stance was correct, that Congress needs to ratify the Constitution if they want to change something in the Constitution. And I agree with her on that. Like I do. I understand the dissenting opinion. I also understand where everybody was coming from, and even liberals. I get it, because it could have went either way. And for me, if you're following the Constitution to the letter of the law of the way it was originally designed, she followed the Constitution. It doesn't matter what time period it was. That's like saying you can't say guns today because we didn't have those type of guns then. You can't do that. You have to apply, and it is a living document, and that's what they meant by a living document, and a living document that can be amended also through process and legislation. So I understand where she was coming from, and she takes the Constitution absolutely literally at the written word, and I have to respect that. So I have been one of the most staunch supporters of the Supreme Court. I mean, look at what they've given us. I mean, this Supreme Court has been incredible, and anyone who says it isn't just isn't paying attention. And although Amy Coney Barrett has decided to push back on what you would consider Trump policies, she's also given him a ton of wins. So people like to go ahead and say that before the Roe decision, she was with him most of the time. Well, that's because she was honestly looking at previous policy from the Obama generation. Now she's looking at 2016, 2024, which has a lot of Trump in it and some Biden. And it seems like some of the Biden pushback when it came to illegal immigration and Title IX, they've fallen on the side of Trump, including Amy Coney Barrett. But when it comes to birthright citizenship, I don't think anyone really expected that to be a win, even though it was very close, 5-4. So we'll see what happens. I think you're going to see provisions of challenging birth tourism, and I think Amy Coney Barrett would absolutely condemn that. But that's not going to be up to her. That's going to be up to the Congress to pass that. Anyway, so I just had some opinions on the Amy Coney Barrett comments in her time before Congress, and I wanted to play it for you. Here it is. It's not too long, and I think it sums it up nicely. Watch this. You know, when you post a video or you post a meme, you don't expect it to go viral. You want it to, and then when it does, it's a good thing. But then there's people, of course, who take opposite sides because that's the way it is today. And people are up in arms over Amy Coney Barrett. What's funny is you have some people who love her and some people who don't, and I don't care about any of that. What I care about is that Amy Coney Barrett makes the right decisions while she's on the bench. That's what we should be worried about. Watch this, and then I'll explain everything and try to make it make sense.
I'd rather die than withdraw. If they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me.
So you'd still like to serve on the Supreme Court?
I'd rather die than withdraw from the process. Not for the purpose of serving on the Supreme Court, but for the purpose of not being driven out of this process. I would not be scared. I don't like bullies. I've never run from bullies. I never cry uncle, and I'm not going to cry uncle today, whether I want to be on the Supreme Court or not.
Is when threats to my life were particularly intense a few years ago, around the time of the Dobbs leak. My security detail sent...
Yeah, that most surely was Joe Biden. Anyone want to tell me who, from the Republican side, was the majority leader at that time? I think... No, it was Senate. Yeah, so he would be majority leader. I'll just tell you. Orrin Hatch is his name.
Me home with a bulletproof vest, and I carried it into my house, put it into my bedroom, dropped it down on a table, turned around, and my 12-year-old son was standing.
You know what? Orrin Hatch wasn't a majority leader, I don't think. I think it was Mitchell who was the majority leader at that. Yes, it was Mitchell. So Hatch was not. Hatch was on the oversight committee, but he was not, for those hearings, was not majority leader. So I correct myself.
Standing in the doorway of my bedroom, and he wanted to know what it was and why I had it. And I didn't know how to respond because maybe I lack imagination, but I didn't expect that performing this service was going to put me in the position of explaining to my children what a bulletproof vest was and why I had to wear one.
Listen, this isn't hard. The difference between Justice Clarence Thomas and Justice Amy Coney Barrett could not be greater. Judges must serve without fear. If Barrett cannot, she should resign. Leftist extremists will always plan and promote violence against people they oppose. We already spend $200 million on Supreme Court security, and we should spend whatever is reasonable and frugal to get the best result. And also prosecute those responsible to the absolute maximum, of course. But government cannot regulate thought before it becomes action. Our system punishes crimes after they occur. Officers, veterans, and millions of Americans face uncertainty every single day in their jobs. Barrett must decide, can she face the threat and remain impartial, remove emotion, apply logic? Her answer determines whether she stays or resigns, and that video doesn't give me a lot of hope that she isn't compromised, and if she is, she should step down. Now loose your sling and arrows, America. Jeez. Thanks for watching. So, yeah, pretty clear, cut and dry. I just want to make sure everyone understood my position on this. I'm not against any of the judges. I think as long as you interpret the Constitution to the written word, then I don't have a problem with you. The moment that you start being a liberal and put personal politics into it and dissenting opinions because you literally get most of your opinions from a Cracker Jack box, Katani Brown Jackson, then that's the way it is. Holy shit. Holy.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Anonymous donating $100. Happy day to me in many ways. Yay. Oh, yay. Hi, Matt. Hi. Thank you.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Outstanding. Thank you so very much. $100 is the way to start off. That just makes me feel happy. That's just awesome. Here, let's get that that thermometer. Let's see. Let's see if the thermometer is going to. Oh yeah. Oh, it's oh, it's there. 33%. That's what that looks like. There we go. Right about there. 33%. Already in. Holy shit.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Anyway, thank you so much, Anonymous. Someone asked the question, hey, Matt, at 9 o'clock, President Trump is going to speak. Are you going to be on? I don't know. Am I? If we get to overtime. But no, I'm not going to stay on until we get to we have to hit goal. We hit goal. I stay on by 9 o'clock. It's simple. It's going to make the show run faster. So thank you for that, Anonymous. And I know who you are, and I love you, and you're the best. Help us out, folks. So figured I'd show that. Candace is cooked. I've been saying this for a long time. And listen, this pot is going to boil. This bunny in this pot is going to boil for a long time until it evaporates and then ultimately turns to a sizzling white bunny rabbit, then is going to turn to smoke and carbon. Holy, what is...
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Courtney to do 103.48. I got a little something, so I'm sharing. I hate the exchange. I'm going to cry. You guys are ridiculous right now. What the hell's going on? This is amazing. Blessings. Thank you. Unbelievable. Thank you, guys and girls and everybody. Let's see what overtime's feeling like. Ooh. Overtime is saying, yes, sir, Bob. I think we're going to 66%. Looks like people want to watch Trump, and they are ready to get us there. Holy crap.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Holy shit. It's outstanding. 66% to goal. That's, I don't even know what to, well, folks, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to leave. Matt and that soundboard, dude, my soundboard is the shiznit. I've got all sorts of toys and prizes in here. But yeah, the Sean Ryan one is going to be my favorite. Olivia and I have been really chiming in on that. Thank you, Courtney. We love you. Thank you for everybody. We appreciate it. So here's Candace and the bunny in the pot. Like I said, it's going to be smoldering. It's going to be sizzling. And then it's going to start smelling like fur. And then it's going to burn. It's going to start smoking. And then it's going to get acrid, and then it's going to fill up the full house with just pungent, disgusting, burnt hair, burned bunny toxicity. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Fatal Attraction. And she's gonna boil that bunny, and she's gonna keep boiling and boiling and boiling. And I'm telling you, she's gonna crash. She has built her entire empire on hating Jews, hating Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, believing that Macron's wife has a penis and that everyone on the planet killed Charlie Kirk and only she can love Charlie Kirk. Nobody else loved Charlie. Nobody else knew Charlie. Nobody was friends with Charlie. She is the only person who knew Charlie, the real Charlie. This bitch is psycho. Yes, we need to use a bunny because it's Fatal Attraction. Yes, she's a nutter. 100% nutter. And we're going to go ahead and show you a video that I thought was really strong, that really kind of puts it together when it comes to her career and what it's going to be like in the next, I don't know, 6 months. I'll give it 6 months. It's hard for me to think it's going to last longer than that. I guess it depends on how quickly they get this trial. And if they can get to it faster than what we've been seeing, I think it'll be sooner. But within a year, I think she's gonna be cooked. Now, the only way that she wouldn't be cooked is if they make a plea deal. And then I think she'll just make a shit ton of excuses. Oh, see, there wasn't enough evidence, and blah, blah, blah. She'll just use it to her advantage. But if there's a trial, every day she's just going to be screaming at the TV, screaming to the top of her lungs. That's it.
Psycho check, psychos!
She's nuts. She's nuts. She's always been nuts.
Hey, Christina Lopez! Remember me? You want some shit? Huh? You want... Oh my God, what's going on?
Candace Owens, here it is. This is probably one of the best, simple 2 to 3 minutes that explains everything. Folks, do me a favor, share the shit out of the show. We're getting killed on Twitter tonight. And honestly, Facebook, what the hell, Facebook? Seriously, what the hell's wrong with you? Come on. Here it is.
This is the end, absolute end of Candace Owen.
Yes, it is.
Because she has become maybe the top podcaster peddling for 80 or 90 shows.
Happy birthday, Jane. We're still waiting for my my song from Still Point. Happy birthday, Jane.
The Mossad did it. Jews were behind it. People within the Turning Point organization were staging a coup. Erica herself, and I couldn't believe that. Erica Kirk is the mastermind by killing her husband or something. And there was no evidence for any of that. And then she came out and said, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. I thought, okay, now you're disgraced and you've lied to millions of people. You've caused undue harm and trauma to the family. You've really you're trying to destroy the whole image of Charlie Kirk with all of these plots. You've demeaned and demonized Jewish people in Israel. Have you no decency? Do you have no decency? And she doesn't, because now she's saying, just today, she said, we've got new evidence. I knew it. Ben Shapiro's security team was talking to Charlie Kirk's security team. Well, maybe he was asking, did you guys see anything? Did you, even if it, so,
can I explain something to you guys about operational security? Great. Let me ask you a question. Let's have a conversation with people. First of all, this is good. We've got it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your contribution to the show. Let's play a little Q&A. We'll do a little Don't Unfriend Me questions and answers. By the way, you can call in if you want to, 276-200-2105. When there is a attempt on the president's life, what do you think the first thing that happens? What's the first thing that happens? When there's an attempt on the president's life, what's the first thing that happens? See if anyone knows. There's a 15-second delay, so I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I can do, so it takes a second. So we have to sit here and twiddle our thumbs. There we go. You guys can hear the music, right? Outstanding. You guys can hear that, right? Liv, can they hear that? Shit. Holy shit. Can you guys hear that? Yes, okay. Security check, get him to safety. Sure. What I mean is from a next step process. So here's the next step. Get him to safety, exfil the area, lock the area down, protect the president. Yes. Attempt on his life. The second thing you do is you ensure no matter where the vice president is in the world that he is immediately exfilled from that location and put on a plane, put in a limo, get him the fuck out of Dodge, wherever he's at. You secure the vice president, the chiefs of staff, you secure the cabinet, the Senate majority leader, the minority leader, the Speaker of the House. That's what you do. Hey, holy moly, Mr. Awesome Sauce, the opportunity to bust the thermometer. Don't threaten me with a good time. Folks, we are going in overtime tonight. We'll be there till 9:30 because we just hit it. We hit it. The overtime meter is absolutely exploding. I'm going to make graphics. Trust me, this weekend. Oh yeah, that overtime meter is going to, there'll be about 10 different phases to the overtime meter. Trust me, I've got this. We love you, Thomas. Hang in there, bub. Hang in there, man. I'm sorry about the smoke. That sucks. So thank you so much for hitting it, Mr. Awesome Sauce. We appreciate you guys. We already hit goal. That's the best days. So let's get to it. No more talking about goal. If you want to continue to help out, please do it. We really, 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 really appreciate it. And essentially you secure Washington. Washington, D.C. is secured. When John F. Kennedy was shot, phone lines into Washington, D.C. went down for like 33 minutes. But normally, when Reagan was hit, they shut it down. And the reason why you do that is you assume that there's going to be an attack on others. And it's a simulated attack. It could be a foreign country. We don't know. It could be a multiple hit plot. So you completely secure the chain of command. That's it. Same thing in military. Same thing with the Joint Chiefs. If there's anything that takes place from a military standpoint that was in foreign countries, it doesn't matter. In Vietnam, multiple areas would be notified. Multiple forward operating bases in Iraq would be notified that there was a large-scale attack on a forward operating base, and all other bases would be notified and be put on alert. SAC NORAD does the same thing. SAC goes on alert. So does NORAD. So does Special Operations Command. So does CENTCOM. Heightened state of readiness alerts take place all the time. It takes place in Strategic Air Command, takes place in the Air Force. The DEFCON defense conditions take place in NORAD and in SAC. It's just standard operating procedure. So if a bodyguard, operational security, high-value target HVT company is Charlie Kirk's, is similar to Ben Shapiro's and Candace Owens, they're going to notify all of their clients, especially a podcaster, and anyone associated with that demographic. So if they go ahead and they protect people during book signings that happen to write about politics, not a podcaster, but enough of drawing lines of delineation to Charlie Kirk would notify them if they were a client. This isn't an abnormality. This is SOP. Why? Well, because if conservatives are being knocked off, you're going to notify your HVTs that they need to go on alert, because that's what a company does. This isn't difficult to understand, right? So when Candace sits there and goes, "Oh yeah, you know, why are they calling? Why is the first person they're calling Ben Shapiro?" Well, dipshit, they share the same security team, and Ben Shapiro has a profile just like Charlie Kirk, and they're both very important people. And let's see, Charlie loved Jews, Ben loved Jews. They came up a little bit further apart, but both in the same way. Both debated at colleges across the country. Both believe in their God, absolutely, without question. Maybe not believe in Jesus Christ, but they do believe in Judeo-Christian ethics as a whole. Ben doesn't speak bad about Christians. Charlie doesn't speak bad about Jews. They had more in common than not. So you notify him. Of course you do. Let me ask you a question. If Damani Felder got hit and then Ryan Weaver got hit, do you think I'm not going to go on a state of readiness? Do you think I'm not going to go ahead and put two and two together and say, wait a second, if Ryan got hit and Damani got hit, maybe I'm next? If a podcaster like Nick Fuentes is a complete dick nugget, if this guy gets someone who tries to show up to his door and kill him, which he did, do you think I don't heighten my security? Of course I do. You don't think every time I get a death threat, I don't do the same thing? Of course I do. It's common sense. But common sense for Candace Owens are two things that just don't make. Those wires don't cross. Do you know how nice it is to have goal already in? I mean, this is just awesome. Awesome. This feels so good. I love these nights. And usually it's one person. It's nice. Three people just came in. Bam, bam, bam. Done. We're hitting goal. God, that feels good. I watched, you guys know Corey Competore and his wife, and Corey Competore was killed. He was the firefighter who was hit in Butler, Pennsylvania, and died. Well, his wife is coming out and she's asking questions, and I've never met her. I'd really love to have her on the show, you know? But I thought at least I'm going to play this because not enough people saw it. And this bothered me. Hey, Liv, put your hair up in a ponytail and come see us, Chaos Girl says. Here's the video I wanted to show you last night, but it's going to be here now. People want you to come on. Well, they're telling you to come on. Here's Corey Competore's wife.
None of this was fake. I'm tired of hearing that. It was not fake that day. President Trump got shot. Unfortunately, he got killed. And I don't want anybody to forget that. And I was looking right in his eyes when it happened. So I don't want people to forget that. And that we struggle every day. Still. Because we don't have answers.
Looking back on that day in Butler, what do you think the Secret Service got most wrong?
Everything. They didn't pick up the radios. They had no communication. They had no communication with the outside. None.
I read in that report that there were 102 calls, radio transmissions that were missed.
Yep.
It says, instead, we found that Secret Service received only 5 phone calls and 3 text messages about crooks. So they're admitting they got 5 calls and texts and they didn't do anything. But what's your reaction?
My reaction is why? Why? Why wouldn't you have reacted from one? I mean, if they would have held him back off that stage and not let him go, I wouldn't be sitting here with you today.
Crooks himself remains shrouded in mystery. Authorities still haven't publicly identified a motive for his attempted assassination of President Trump. You've expressed belief that the gunman, Thomas Crooks, didn't act alone.
I don't believe there was another shooter there, but I believe that he was working with somebody. I believe it was an inside job inside the government somewhere.
And this was political?
Oh, yeah.
Political.
Absolutely. Yep.
Have you seen evidence to that?
Oh, I've been told things, but I've had something that happened with me that just afterwards, and you're starting to put the pieces together, it just made total sense.
What will help give you closure?
When the people who put this all together that day are caught and it comes out.
So if you had a message for President Trump, what would it be?
Just to don't forget us and remember what we went through that day. You know, we're still here and we need answers.
Helen Comparator says it was a year before the Secret Service actually reached out to her. The questions that she did ask, she says they didn't answer them fully, and she's now pleading, reaching out to President Trump, hoping that he will intervene, apply pressure, so she can get answers as to what happened here and why.
What did you say, Dick Nugget? Who's keeping track of Matt's neologisms? Thank you. Wow, good word. Invented words, folks. Vocabulary night here at Karen Vera's. It's interesting because Olivia is starting to read the Age of Entitlement book that I've been recommending to you guys now for weeks, and she's hooked. And Olivia doesn't get hooked like that. She just doesn't. Books like Harry Potter or 50 Shades of Grey, shit like that. But she's listening to the audio, and I turned her on to audiobooks because I just don't have time to sit down and read anymore. So I've been doing audiobooks when I work out, when I work down here, and I love it. And she absolutely is just like, holy moly. But she's like, every sentence I have to look up words. I'm like, that'll get easier. Yeah, Dick Nugget. Listen, here's the thing. That's Helen Comparator, and she's obviously Corey's wife. Do I have a problem with what Candace Owens is doing? Yes, because Candace Owens has absolutely no right, because Charlie was not hers. And the stages of grief are absolutely for everybody. Everybody gets to go through the stages of grief. But there are special considerations for spouses and siblings and parents and family. Very different. And Candace is allowed to grieve, and Candace is also allowed to ask questions, but there are limits on what you can and can't do. And the moment that you start defecating on the memory of your friend and his wife, bitch, you've gone too far. So when I hear Helen talk like this, and Mrs. Comparator, when I hear her say this, I immediately think of that she has every right to ask every single question and think about it however she wants to process it, and nobody gets to say shit about that. Nobody. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to address one point she said. She needs to go through her stages of grief. She needs to get to acceptance, and I know she has, but now she's at the point of being mad, and she has every right to be. Every right to be angry, because she's right. There were threats from Iran. That was enough not to have an open venue. It was not safe. The Secret Service did not do a good job. You guys saw me break down the Ready Reaction team, the QRT team, the way that they handled that, the way the Secret Service handled that, the absolute just complete fuckery that happened on the Exfil on that was just a shitbag way. I'm with her. I've got questions. But you can't find somebody like Crooks, who is a ghost, and then have another person who tries, who is obviously a CIA asset. Anyone who thinks that that guy wasn't CIA, you're insane. His traveling back and forth to Ukraine. Listen to me. Let me just explain something to you. Let me just lay this out. Do you want to know who's in country in Ukraine right now? Especially during that time period? CIA and special forces. Period. I personally know two guys who work with the CIA, and I can say this with a straight face, 100%, because it's not classified or anything, who work for the CIA, who are working in Ukraine right now. Personal friends of mine who are working in Ukraine, who are CIA. And you've got an assassin who is openly recruiting across social media for volunteer forces of United States ex-veterans and, mercs and, weekend warriors to dedicate their time to the Ukrainian Republican Army, who has funding and accounts that are extremely strange, long criminal records of doing 76 different type felonies. This guy also, as you see him in a three-piece suit, 1 minute shaking hands with politicians, and the next minute you see him and he looks like a surfer bum, openly admits he's CIA, has enough to do a sniper's nest, has enough to put ceramic tiles in his shooting position, knows how to build that. The only thing that got him caught, supposedly, that in a golf course through a chain link fence in a wooded area, some Secret Service guy happened against his rifle and saw his muzzle. Okay. Really? Really? I don't believe it. But that's okay. I've got questions. I thought Butler and I thought the Palm Beach golf course, both of those just smelled of government. It reeked of it. Now, do I think Crooks was a Manchurian candidate or MK Ultra? No, not at all. Do I even think he was U.S. government? No, I don't. Do I think that he was activated or working? No, I don't. But I do believe that the United States government has the ability to identify things like this, recognize that they had multiple threat level indicators that this guy was going to do this shit, and they ignored it. That is where I feel it's government complicity. So once again, not conspiratorial. It's simply the lack of not doing anything, because you saw that reoccurring theme repeatedly. What took the snipers so long to return fire? It's a good question. You saw that guy walking around. Why didn't you stop him? You had multiple police trying to engage with him. Why didn't you shoot him? The moment that you saw that there were people screaming that he was laying prone and he got a rifle out, why wasn't fire laid upon him? Why weren't our own drones there? Why weren't electronic countermeasures being pumped through the air so no drones could be flown, that cell phones could be turned off in certain areas that were not within the general perimeter? Why didn't you have multiple bird's nests, people watching with binoculars, looking at the field, looking for any type of flash from optics? A shadow moving, brush moving, whatever it is. Why don't you have guys up in the water tower or counter snipers over there that had complete 360-degree view on Overwatch? Why wouldn't you put a sniper up there? Why did you back up an SUV? Why wasn't the SUV already there? Why did you allow Trump to stand up? Don't give me shit about a photo op. Why did you allow him to stand up? What took you so long to get to the target? Why didn't they have people posted up when the quick rapid response team came out? Why did they not take a secure perimeter? Why didn't they have every single rifle pointed at the crowd and were sweeping the crowd in 7 to 10 degree increments to ensure that there was absolutely no retaliatory fire? Why didn't they have long range deployment too of a secondary team to secure the perimeter for anything coming in?
Why weren't weapons drawn by the Secret Service agents? What took them so long to get in the fucking vehicle? And why did they make a 2-point turn on getting out versus hitting that thing and dropping that engine to 120 frickin' miles an hour and getting the flock out of there? Lots of questions. Why wasn't he behind bulletproof glass if Iran just made threats, which they did? The threat level indicators were all over the place. I've got Secret Service friends who told me the threat level indicators on there were red. And were 4 weeks up above that and after. They had talked about that possibly Air Force One was going to be hit by surface-to-air missiles that supposedly leaked across the Mexican border that were brought over by mules that worked with cartels. And these missile systems, they believe, might have been Iranian. They believe they could be Houthis or Hezbollah, but Hamas, they weren't sure who it was. But these missile systems were supposedly came into the United States down through New Mexico or Arizona, and that was what the message traffic said. Well, if you don't believe that happened, then explain to me why President Trump stopped using his own personal plane and started using private air. Why do you think his Secret Service was extended when it came to his air travel, but not his ground level? There's a lot of things to ask, and she has every right to ask it. Candace Owens, I'm bringing her up because she has no right to ask. If Erica Kirk was saying, listen, I want to know what the trapdoor was. Was there somebody there? I want to know about a 30-06. I want to see the ballistics. I don't understand how my husband, it wasn't more graphic or there was no exit wound. It's confusing to me. I don't get it. I want to ask this. Good. She can ask every fucking question she wants because she's earned it. She paid it in blood. Candace Owens literally paid it with psychotropic drugs, SSRIs, and probably a little vodka in her we don't know no cup, but we know.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Karen, it wasn't filled the next day, but they did cement pour over it for a few reasons. And there's multiple reasons for that I don't want to get into tonight, but understand this. Is that usually when there is a homicide that takes place after it's released back to the property owner or released back to the school or the building superintendents, they usually cover it up. That's and it's not just washing it because it was a lawn and wooded lawn and area. And yes, there was a concrete area. And yes, there was a trap door under him. It's not a trap fucking door. It's literally an access way to the steamers and the steam pipes for heating on these campuses because they all use boiler rooms for this. But ultimately, it's out of respect for the dead and to kind of start anew and start fresh. Is it weird? No, because the FBI went and washed off the top of the building because they were asked to. After they took forensic samples, after they did all their forensic analysis in Butler, they washed it off. Of course, people like Eli Crane and others were like, why did they do that? Well, because there's brain matter. And literally the guy shat himself and pissed himself on the top of the roof. And that's not going to smell very good. And it's not going to look very good. And so you wash it off. It's called cleaning up a crime scene. You do it. And people are all worried about Crooks's body. It was cremated in 3 days. That's absolutely bullshit. It was not. It was 9 days that they released the body back to the family. That's pretty standard operating procedure. Most bodies are cremated in the first 72 hours to 7 to 8 days if they're going to be cremated. Burial takes a little bit longer because of arrangements. But cremation actually is usually fairly quickly. And we don't know when he was cremated. We just know his body was released 9 days. 9 days is plenty of time to do everything they need to do to get ballistic samples, trajectory samples, get blood samples, tissue samples, carbon scoring, everything, all of it, 100%. Bone fragments, x-rays, all of it. And then they released it, and then the family cremated him. That's not weird. So a lot of it's conspiratorial. I'm not saying conspiratorial. I'm saying the absolute lack. You have to ask the most simplest question in the world. And the most simplest question that you can come up with is, how did a kid do this when professionals, hundreds of them who are designed to stop this very thing from happening, all decided to go to fucking lunch in their heads that day? That is when you have to, that's the question that needs to be asked. Nothing else. Nothing else. Because if you just ask that question, the other questions will formulate on their own, and they're all going to be based on scientific or logical or exculpatory evidence. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with everything. It's the same thing with the John F. Kennedy assassination. Could a single person do the shooting? No, a single person could not do the shooting. I know that for a fact. I've been to the Texas Book Depository. I've looked at Houston. I looked at Elm. I can absolutely navigate a bolt-action rifle, and I can make that shot. I can't make that shot 3 times in 7.86 seconds. Just can't happen. Even if I rack the first round, I still can't make that because I can't shoot through a Texas elm and a Texas oak, which is in full foliage in winter. Whoops. I went there on November 22nd. I went there at 11:59 to 12:03, specifically at that time to see what it looked like, to see what the smells were like, to see what it felt like in the Texas Book Depository. And with the Carcano rifle, an Italian piece of shit rifle with the sights that are completely wonky and messed up, I couldn't have done that shooting. I also don't understand why all the projectiles, the 3 rounds, were thrown to the left of the Carcano rifle versus to the right, because that's the ejection style of a bolt-action rifle, yet they were found to his left. There are so many inconsistencies in the Lee Harvey Oswald story, and if you just go ahead and stay on the facts, the exculpatory evidence, it literally melts itself. Sherilyn says, this might sound crazy, but do you think the Crooks family knew anything? Yes. Maybe not the exact details, but remember, Tyler Robinson's little lover knew he was carving words onto shells during times when people were carving words onto shells and shooting at conservatives. He knew enough. He knew enough to be worried. He knew enough to wonder why. But unfortunately, intelligence is raw, and it's hard to process and collectively put it together without hindsight. You're asking people to put jigsaw puzzles together with 3 or 4 pieces, and it can't happen. That's not the way intel works. This is why we missed Pearl Harbor. This is why we missed 9/11. This is why we missed Charlie. This is why we missed Trump and the assassination attempts that have followed. Because you cannot regulate thought and action. You just can't. There's no law that stops people from thinking or acting. And our justice system is always posthumous from the event itself. You have to commit the crime and then we go to act. There's nothing that prevents crime. Nothing does prevent crime. The only thing that prevents crime is abstinence, but that is a willful negotiation. That is a willful contract from the individual. You can't make someone do that. That's like when people protect Amy Coney Barrett. That's great. You can't do that. You can put all the money in the fucking world, but if somebody drops a nuke on her, she's gonna get cooked. So honestly, what it really comes down to is the elevation of the attempt. And if somebody sets off a truck full of nitrate right outside the Supreme Court building, she's gone. And no amount of security is going to stop that. And she needs to learn to cope with that. She needs to learn, like all military servicemen and women do. Like police officers do. Like people who work at 7-Eleven and get beat up or mugged, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. All of these things are important. The FBI has interviewed the family. Yeah, but Matt, I don't think Kennedy was a mistake. And everything in my heart and soul, the United States government killed Kennedy. And we could sit, I will not do this show alone. I'm going to have to go get the author of Best Evidence, Lipton, and get him here. There's a few other people who I'd want to get on, and I'd want a panel of 4 or 5 of us with cameras all the way around, with Mike sitting out in front of a fireplace outside with a whiskey and cigars, and literally be a 6-hour podcast, because that's not a podcast we can do in an hour. If you want to talk about the Kennedy assassination with me, you better be ready for 30 or 40 hours of conversation before I'm satisfied. It's gotten to a point where I know too much about that, and I'm an expert in it, and I should have my doctorate in the Kennedy assassination. I don't know anyone I've listened to a lot of people. There's only about probably 5 in the world that I believe know as much as I do about the Kennedy assassination. And that's because I've been studying it my whole life. It is probably one of, I'm not addicted to it. I'm not obsessed with it. I just consume it at such a rate that I can read a book on Kennedy in 50 minutes, 400-page book, because I don't need to read 90% of it. I already know. So I'm only skimming the stuff that I don't need to know. Do you understand? Or I need to know. You understand what I'm saying? So, but that's my dream, is to do a podcast, bring like 3 or 4 of the top Kennedy analysts and studious observers of that time period, bring them together and have a conversation. And I will formulate 50 questions that will just blow your fucking socks off. And we will go down this rabbit hole of information. Pardon my language. I would love to do that. Lisa says, so the family hasn't come out to speak to the media? I wouldn't either. And do they live in Butler? They did. I don't know if they still do. Hey, Robert Petrovsky, 1776. Let's keep it going. Gracias, Robert. Thank you. Are they hiding? I live a half hour from Butler and have not heard or seen anything. It's like it never happened. Well, let me explain something. What happened into Lee Harvey Oswald. Maria Oswald completely disappeared off the face of the earth. A lot of family members went into hiding. And outside of Dallas, they moved. And any of the locations of people associated with Lee Harvey Oswald, like Guy Bannister or Clay Shaw, or David Ferry, who were either all dead or literally were being charged by Garrison, also poofed. His time in Maryland, when he was working in Maryland, Marine Corps friends, it's not that they died. It's just that when you constantly have reporters hounding you and you constantly have that pressure, the only thing you want to do is get away from it. And listen, if my son or daughter did something horrible on the national news, I probably wouldn't stick around here for reporters. I would probably bug the fuck out. I just, but understand this. Strange things happen during strange situations. And the one consistent thing in all the inconsistencies is that there will always be inconsistencies. And you have to accept that as a person. It doesn't mean, just because you don't know or just because you see something that doesn't feel correct, doesn't mean you're right. It means that you must find the things that you know are not true. You must find the things that you know contributed to what happened, and those are the things you need to focus on. And I can focus on the absolute abysmal operational security failure that was Butler. That's easy to focus because I have exculpatory evidence. I can see it. I've got visual, I got digital, I got Secret Service conversations with people. I've seen the interviews, I've seen the tape, I've seen the shooting. We broke it down. I told you where it was coming from. I told you probably what building it was coming from. We told you how many shots were fired. We told you that it was a reverse sniper team, two sniper teams in Crow's Nest that made the shot. We told you that it was more than likely this type of rifle, which it wound up being. We broke the whole thing down for you live. And it was incredible coverage. If there was an internet Pulitzer, there have been multiple people that said we should have gotten a Pulitzer for that coverage, plus the coverage that Mel also assisted on the Baltimore Bridge collapse, which was good. And our elections, and Ukraine, and the Jews, and the Nashville, Tennessee Pac Bell building bombing with the RV, and about 100 other things we do, including Charlie Kirk's coverage, which was pretty fucking good too, might I add. But once again, we can focus on the things that we can know about and control that are maybe surface level, but help us dig deeper without going down rabbit holes about his family. Do I believe that we'll ever know the truth? No. But do I believe there's plenty to know about what happened that day? And just like John F. Kennedy, people always ask me who did it, who was guilty, what happened, and how. I'll tell you. It was a Secret Service failure to the nth degree, and whether that was intentional or accidental is immaterial because that's what happened. John F. Kennedy would be alive today if the Secret Service did their job, and they didn't. And Donald Trump Jr. and Corey Comprador would be alive today, and Helen and he would be together if they did their job that day. That's it. Yep, I know all about Marina, too, and I also know about the 6 months that she disappeared, and they drugged the shit out of her and programmed her to answer a certain way. But they put Marina under lock and key for 6 months. She had a nervous breakdown. They put psychotropic drugs into her. A lot of comments and a lot of ideas with that she was hit with LSD and that they programmed her what to say and then released her to the public. If you watch her videos, she looks like a zombie. But that's the level of interrogation that took place back then. Anyway, let's keep moving. Good conversation. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the big shares. Means a lot. 33 on Twitter, 49 on Facebook, 26 on the old YouTube, 37 on Rumble. This is disturbing. There's always things that are disturbing. This is Senator Hawley, and he is calling out pardons that were done by Joe Biden, and this one really drives me crazy. Yeah, it was CIA. Yeah, it was CIA. CIA grabbed her. Well, of course they did, because Lee Harvey Oswald worked for the CIA. Do you guys want to walk down that rabbit hole real quick, or do you want me to go ahead and do the pardon by AutoPen? Do you want me to show you right now how Lee Harvey Oswald was CIA? And you'll never hear this anywhere else. Yeah, Marina Oswald was beautiful, still is. Compared to where she was in pictures and photos, is what I'm trying to say. Like Jackie O. Jackie O was timeless too. Do you guys want to hear this or not? Just be honest. You're not going to hurt my feelings. No. No. He wasn't groomed. And no paywall. Yeah. I would love to interview Marina. I mean, she's getting up there. She's got to be at least 84, 85, maybe 86 years old now. No, she's not. Are you sure? Didn't her birthday's tomorrow. She was born in July. It's July 17th, I think. She was born July 17th, so her birthday's tomorrow. Are you sure she's dead? I think she turns 85 tomorrow. Is 84 or 85? I could be wrong. Liv! Would you look up if Marina Oswald's still alive and find her birthday for me? Make sure. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know she died. Well, here's the thing. I don't believe the shooter. She's not, I'm telling you, I don't think Marina Oswald's alive. Yeah, she's alive. Find out her birthday, Maddie. See if I'm right. Yes, she'll be 84. She lives I know where she lives. Yep. I think she's either going to be 84 or 85 tomorrow. I'm telling you, her birthday's July 17th. I know that for 120%. Did you find out? Come here.
She remarried. She lives in Dallas.
Do you want to know how I know this? Because Lee Harvey Oswald was born on October 18th, and I knew it was one day in between. July, August, September, October. 4. It's 4 months. That's how I do word association. So it's 4 months from her birthday and 1 day. Yep. 84, she's going to be 85. That's correct. July 17th. 1941, I know that because of the movie. And also something else that was very important in 1941. She's 84, birthday tomorrow, and lives in Dallas. Happy birthday, Marina Oswald. I told you, I know more about the John F. Kennedy assassination than a human being should ever know about the John F. Kennedy assassination. Anyway, so here's the deal. You want to know how I know that that Lee Harvey Oswald was CIA? It's real simple. It's super simple. It's so simple, I like a child can figure this out. And most of you know this. Okay? Most of you know this if you just knew this. Lee Harvey Oswald was in the United States Marine Corps. Lee Harvey Oswald was a radio operator. A radio operator being a person who communicates from Americans to Americans. He wasn't cryptography. He wasn't linguistics. A radio operator just takes communication from 1A to point B, tunes it in, and either has point A to point B talk to each other, interjects D and E into the conversation too, and essentially is a big PBX operator. That is what they do. That's a radio operator. They aren't crypto. They're not listening into conversations at the Russian embassy. They don't even have an intelligence level a designation. Now, they do have to have a clearance, but you have to have a clearance as a cook in the military. Let's be honest. You have to at least have classified. Yep, Pearl Harbor, 1941. Yep. December 22nd, 1941, right? 23rd. Ooh, shit. 23rd. November 22nd, 1963 was Kennedy. So December 7th, 1941 is Pearl Harbor. Am I right? Shit. Hold on. December what? 1941. Come on. I gotta find it. Hold on. I don't want to have. Is it December 7th, 1941? Yeah. Dude, that brain, man, it's getting old. It's getting old, folks. It's not as good as it used to be. It takes a little bit. Like, I would have been like, absolutely, this is the day. This is the. I'm getting old. Correct. Darla, that's absolutely correct. December 1773, George Washington had a near-fatal shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania before he became president. Correct. Okay. He was a radio operator. He was in the United States Marine Corps. He got out dishonorable. And the reason why is because he designated that he was going to defect. He went to the local State Department and said, I am going to go to Russia. I have all intentions of giving them all classified and any top secret material that I have that I learned in the United States Marine Corps. I am surrendering my American citizenship, and I'm defecting to Russia. This was during post-McCarthyism. This was when Khrushchev was in office. Andropov just left. Russia and the United States are about to lock horns in a 10-year, 15-year hidden intelligence war where thousands of FBI, CIA, Politburo, Spetsnaz, and KGB are literally offed and dumped into the Potomac or into Petropavlovsk or the Morsk or the Vosk River. And this guy says, I'm going to defect. So he does. So he leaves, goes over to Russia, gets put up in a manufacturing job. He hangs out with the predominantly white oligarchs of Russia, middle class. He lives high on the hog, has an apartment to himself in Moscow, in the upper areas, close to the Kremlin. He meets Marina, falls in love, has a kid. Then something happens. Powers gets shot down from the U-2 spy plane, an unhittable plane. Russia did not have the capabilities for heat signature technology, infrared technology, radiant technology, none of it. But one thing a radio operator would know, especially moving communications between point A to B, he would understand flight times. He would understand routes that they did fly. He would understand communications and comms and radio signals of when that person was going to squawk and talk. And it's very possible that the United States government, well, we're not going to go there yet. Let's just remember Powers in the U-2. Lee Harvey Oswald goes to Russia and then decides all of a sudden, I'm going to go back to the U.S. Now, he defected. He renounced his American citizenship. He became a spy and committed treason and openly said he was going to tell the Russian government secrets about the United States Marine Corps, radar operations, and then you need to understand something else. Lee Harvey Oswald went to Monterey, California. Now, you can't get his records, because those have been destroyed. You can't find them. You can find basic training. You can find his AQT. You can find his qualification with rifle and pistol. You can find out sit reps, basic sit reps for first year, but you can't find out his training because he's a ghost. I know he went to Monterey, California, because Lee Harvey Oswald spoke Russian. And Lee Harvey Oswald didn't learn Russian in high school. He didn't learn the brief stint in college. He didn't know any Russian. There was no tapes called Hooked on Russian at the time. And we know that on his billet for being a radio operator, the United States Marine Corps taught him Russian. Now, there's no reason for a radio operator to have Russian. And unless he's not doing linguistics, he's not doing interpretation, he's not doing electronic intelligence, he's not doing human intelligence, he's not doing asset intelligence, he's not reading, he's not trying to break crypto. He's not listening to message traffic, none of that thing. Matt, your HP 9830 is due for an upgrade. So he learns Russian, and there's only one place that you learn Russian in the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps, which are the Department of the Navy, Monterey, California. How do I know? Because I've been there 3 times. So they go to Monterey and they teach him linguistics training, and they give him Russian. Russian. It's where the CIA is trained. It's where certain portions of the FBI are trained. It's where people in certain paid militant groups that were responsible for overthrowing Castro in the Bay of Pigs, and certain mercenaries are sent to speak Russian. This is where they send NOC and case officers overseas. This is where they were putting people in West Berlin who spoke Russian, knowing that the fall of East Berlin was going to take place, and setting up essentially sleeper cells inside Germany. This is all CIA. This is all intelligence. And Lee Harvey Oswald went there. We know that. How do we know that? Because we know he got linguistics training, but there's no record of him going to Monterey. But we know he got linguistics training. So he goes to Russia, and he sits high on the hog, and he's in Russia, and he's in the Kremlin, or he's in Moscow. He's literally smack dab right in the middle of the intelligence agencies, the Politburo, Spetsnaz, the ISB, KGB, Russian National Intelligence, the RNI, all of them. Russian Naval Intelligence, Maritime Fleet, Marine Force, all of it, all within that area, all of it. And he's smack dab in essentially a fairly rich white-collar district, smack dab in the middle of the intelligence district of Moscow. Outside of a little village he works at. And he says, I'm done. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to the United States. Let me explain something to you. The probability of a person who was not an asset going to Russia and defecting from the United States willingly after they tell the State Department is probably 0. You're not going to let a guy who you trained in Russian, who had a security clearance, obviously, that was fairly high, to go to Russia, who is a radio operator. You're not going to let that happen. But they do. So they send him over there, and then he's going to come back. So I believe he flies into either LaGuardia or O'Hare. I can't remember which one. Gets a flight back. With no money in his bank account, hardly any, and gets a $3,000 plane ticket, whatever, a massive ticket, pays cash. And the probability of that in Russia is 0. Is 100% 0. You would wind up in the deepest, dankest Siberian hole, and you would be in a labor camp for the rest of your life. But then, to get your wife to be able to go with you and your child, that's not only 0, that is unquantifiable in Soviet Russia. Because if you are going to go over to the United States, you aren't going to get permanent residence. You are going to go on what we call a visa. And essentially, it's a temporary travel voucher. And they're going to hold your wife and kid and basically say, you either come back or your wife is going to do hard labor in a labor camp, and we're going to sell your kids to some Tunisians. And then we're going to find you. Because we have oligarchs in the United States too, and we have our own spy network, and we're going to fucking kill you if you don't return. But they just let him go. And as Lee Harvey Oswald gets off the plane and lands with Marina and little baby in tow, there's no State Department. There's no FBI. There's no CIA. There's no state police. There's no U.S. Marshals. There is no Department of Homeland Security. There's not even any former remnants of the OSS, of the Office of Strategic Services, which has been absolutely moved into the CIA. There's nothing. And he walks in with a clean passport and walks right into the United States. No sirens, no charges, no treason, no nothing. And let me fucking tell you right there, if you don't understand what that means, you haven't read enough spy novels, you never worked intel, and you're not paying attention. Lee Harvey Oswald, in my assessment, was a spook. But he was a spook working for Russia and the United States. I'll get to that conversation in a completely different way. 100% spooks. I don't believe there was a second shooter. I don't believe it. I don't believe there was a second shooter, but I don't believe that Lee Harvey Oswald is the one who did the shooting. And that's a whole nother conversation that we can't get to right now. But if you want to do this someday, I would love to do it. I've done this before. We've had these conversations before, and it's always fun. Fact check my stuff. Let me know. Tell me what you find out. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Ever heard any of that before? You can't get me started on this. We got to move on. All right. So AutoPen. Listen to this. Hawley addresses this about Joe Biden's AutoPen. This makes me sick. I mean, absolutely sick. Some of the people that he pardoned.
You recommended that the President of the United States, Joe Biden, grant clemency to all 40 federal death row inmates. All of them. Clear them out. Correct?
Sir, as I told Chairman Grassley, I'm not free to discuss the recommendation.
Well, remember this guy? This is the guy that went into the Black Baptist Church and killed 9 black congregants. Yeah, this guy.
That's what your memo says. I mean, we have your memo. Your memo of November 4th, 2024 says, and I quote, disparity and undue severity of sentence, which are present in many, if not all of these cases, have been recognized as grounds for clemency. And you went on to recommend in that memo and a series of other memos that are now recorded and public record that the President of the United States grant clemency to murderers, rapists, and the most horrible offenders, all of them, clear death row completely out. I'm amazed you've been called here today. I'm absolutely amazed by it. But let's just talk about the people who you recommended. You talk about honoring victims. The people who you recommended get clemency. And
oh, yeah. Lee Harvey Oswald used multiple. Yeah, he went by H. Lee, Keitel, and I can't remember the first name, but H. Lee, Lee Oswald, O.H. Lee, and another one, something Keitel. Yeah, he had multiple aliases all over. And he gave these to the American embassy, the Mexican embassy, the Russian embassies. He put this on job applications. You know, when he came back from LaGuardia or O'Hare, you know what he did? It was LaGuardia. You know what he did? He went to work in Texas for a map factory. And that map factory had the contracts for the U-2 spy plane. And he had a top secret clearance working in a contracting position. And essentially all of those maps would go to every JIC, every single NORAD, SAC, the Pentagon. And he would essentially take radar imagery from satellites and keyhole satellites and go ahead and put them on overlays, which required a TSI. And that's where he worked. That's a job he got. Are you fucking kidding me? A Russian defector who was treasonous who probably gave them radar operating codes, timetables on U-2 spy plane flyovers on looking at their Russian birds, and all of a sudden Powers is shot down in a U-2, an unhittable plane, and then he gets a job working for a government contractor with a top secret clearance? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that scans. You guys, there's so much in it. You don't even know. Don't even know. There's so much.
Live at the expense and sufferance of taxpayers for the rest of their lives. Let's start with Dylan Roof. Dylan was a neo-Nazi who murdered 9 African-American worshipers at a Bible study in Charleston, South Carolina, 2015. Do you remember this case?
I do remember it very well.
I would hope you did. Here's his victims. You want to look at them? There they are. 9 of them at a Bible study in a church, killed in cold blood. The DOJ knew from day one that he had decided, I'm going to quote from the prosecutors, decided to attack African Americans because of their race. He further decided to attack African American worshipers in a black church in order to make his attack more notorious. More notorious. And yet you recommended that he be granted clemency, live at the expense of taxpayers for the rest of his life, substitute your judgment for that of the American judicial system. Do you stand by that recommendation today?
Sir, I'm not going to comment on the recommendations that I made, but I can tell you that Mr. Roof is going to die in prison as...
He's going to live in prison for a very long time because of you, because of your recommendations. And here's what you said in your memo of October 30th, 2024. You said that actually Roof is not a compelling candidate for clemency, but you recommended it anyway. Why? Because he suffered from anxiety, you said. Right? He suffered from anxiety. Did it ever occur to you that maybe the family of his victims might suffer a little bit of anxiety because he marched into their church and murdered them in cold blood because he was an incredible racist and he wanted to get on TV?
Sir.
Do you regret it?
I'm not going to comment on the recommendations
Do you regret it?
that I made to the...
She's not going to answer. By the way, I think I was right. Alec James Heidel, Alec J. Heidel, A.J. Heidel, A. Heidel, O.H. Lee, Lee Osborne. Other names that he wrote on documents. He was also Stolen Valor. D.F. Drytal, Lieutenant J. Evans, Lieutenant, Stolen Valor. Sergeant also. Guy was, I think he was a Lance Corporal. Sergeant Robert Heidel, George Heidel, Dr. A.J. Heidel. It's been a while. I love the Kennedy assassination. Like I said, it's not bragging if it's true, folks. I am a walking encyclopedia. Just ask me whatever you want. I'll answer you and I'll be right. It blows away the kids whenever we talk about it and they come home from school and they're like, oh, we learned something about John Kennedy. I'm like, sit down. What did you learn? Tell me now. Spill your guts. Tell me. I want to know it all. Where were you on the night of... It's great. Makes me sick. Liberals. Rubio is a beast. They are now like this whole adage that the conservatives are the most violent. It's such shit. It's all you need to do is take the inner city violence and now boom, liberals are the most violent party in the United States. But you take the recent violence, you take the last 11 shooters out of the last 17 were transgender furry weirdos. This is pretty amazing by Rubio, and he just lays it on the line. This is great. Folks, we've hit goal. It's beautiful. We hit it in the first 30 minutes. It was one of the best nights I remember in a while. So thank you. It feels so good. I'm happier when we hit goal because I feel like, okay, people appreciate the show. That means the world to me. Here is Rubio. Listen.
More than 80% of radical violence is now driven by far left and anarchist actors.
How many Bidens did the auto pin give? Over 7,000. I think it was almost 9,000 pardons. Yeah. 9,000, the most ever. Pardons, clemency, or deferments. Not just, but deferred sentences. How many did you give them? I'll find out for you. Yeah, Kennedy, there's a couple times in history, people always remember where they were. The Challenger blowing up, John F. Kennedy assassination, beginning of the Gulf War, when we landed on a moon, things that Pearl Harbor. I mean, and some of us weren't alive, but for the people during that time. But yeah, dude, Rubio killed it this time. Just killed it. I'm going to tell you about the pardons, but I think it was like all in all, 9,245 commutations, pardons. He had military pardons, marijuana pardons. Yeah, all in, it was incredibly high. But if commutations, 4165, 80 pardons directly. But also qualified immunity. You got to do that too. I mean, he gave qualified immunity to a shit ton of people, including Fauci and his own son. Oh, of course they should be reversed. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. You got to listen to Rubio. Rubio cooks. This
More
is
than
so
80%.
Matt, did you see the doctor that was wanted for rape? He was finally found after 22 years. Was this the guy that drugged his patients and touched them inappropriately? I know there was a dentist who did that. Is that what happened? Or is this the guy that actually killed them? Oh, is this the one that the 300 people that were found in his backyard? Which one was this, Maria? Let me know. Watch the rest of this. Listen to this. This is good.
The radical violence is now driven by far left and anarchist actors. These are not abstract statistics. Americans have seen what those numbers mean. An all-out assault on our immigration officers, sniper attacks, explosives, armed ambushes, a transgender shooter opening fire on Catholic elementary school students as they pray, his gun marked with slogans like, "Where is your God now?" A healthcare executive executed in cold blood in the streets. Multiple assassination attempts on a sitting president, and the murder of the greatest conservative activist of a generation, a man who happened to also be a husband and the father of 2 young children, shot and killed while speaking to a crowd of students. This is a distinctive and unique evil. It has always been driven by a hate.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I got to take questions when I get them. Otherwise, I won't remember. Says Matt, what's the difference between a commutation and a pardon? A pardon is an all-out pardon. It says it's a federal crime, and it's saying you are exonerated from that crime, and any time served is now fulfilled, and no time for this crime will be served up until then. It doesn't necessarily clear your conviction or give you an innocence in any way, shape, or form, but it stops the punishment completely. A commutation takes time off of it. So, for instance, if you have 15 years left federally, he can take it down to 2.5, or he can take it down to 6 months. And that's a commutation. Essentially, it's a removal of time based upon the conviction and sentencing. A pardon erases the sentencing and keeps the conviction in place. That's the best way to describe it. Okay, here we go.
Hatred. Above all else, a hatred for civilization itself. It is a revolt of the worst against the best. A revolt of the weak.
Oh, and you know what? A pardon does forgive the offense at the federal level. Pardon me. It forgives the offense, but it doesn't impact state. That's what I meant to say. I apologize. Got a caller in, 620. Hey, what's going on? And you're on the phone with the Don't Unfriend Me show.
Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, this is Matt. Can you hear us?
Yeah. This is Jim Brown.
Hey.
And I wanted you to know that I can't watch your program.
Why?
Facebook won't let me on. It says I can do anything on Facebook I want except watch your show. It just shows me that you're buffering all the time, and right now I'm watching your last night's show, and it won't let me watch that either.
How's your internet? What internet do you have, Jim?
I got I can't remember. I had a stroke, and it won't let my mind don't work like
that's okay. Let me ask you a couple questions. Are you on a Are you on a desktop computer or a laptop, or are you on your phone?
Laptop.
Okay. And do you have a cell phone which has internet access?
No, I don't. I'm not that smart.
Oh, don't worry about it. That's okay, Jim. It's fine. So on your phone, what type of phone do you have? You have an Apple or do you have Samsung? What do you have?
I've got it's just an old shit phone.
Okay. So that's not going to help us. All right. And your laptop itself, do you get internet through Comcast or Verizon or Time Warner, or who do you get your internet from?
Verizon.
Okay.
Verizon.
Okay. And is it fast or is it just a pretty basic package? Do you know?
It's just regular package, I guess.
Okay. So here's what we need to do. If you've got some time tomorrow, I'll have some time, and you and I can call Verizon, and I'll be able to cut the fat and get you on with somebody. And what we can do is troubleshoot. And more than likely, there's a couple things that it could be. One is that your speeds aren't fast enough to handle live streaming, because live streaming takes a lot of juice, and even the recorded shows do. It takes a really fast internet speeds to keep up with that. But there's some things we can do. Specifically, have you tried watching me on YouTube?
Yeah. I've like I said, I've watched you for I don't know how long. I've never had a problem.
Okay.
And all of a sudden I just can't watch you. It won't let me.
Jim, this sounds like an internet issue. And how about we get on the phone together tomorrow? And do you know my email? You can email, okay, right? You know how to do that?
Yeah. Yes.
Email me your phone number, Matt. Actually, I've got your phone number right here. Do you want me to give you a call tomorrow and we can walk through it together and call Verizon and see if we can? They'll probably go in and they'll check your settings and get your computer restarted and stuff like that. Have you had a chance to restart your? Do you know how to restart your modem that you have in your house? Have you had a chance to unplug that and then restart your computer? Have you tried that?
I haven't tried that yet.
That's
like I said.
Go ahead.
I'm handicapped. I can't walk.
Okay. Do you have a live-in friend, or is there a nurse that comes by? Or
my daughter comes up every day.
Would you do me a favor? What's her name?
Kaylee.
Will you tell Kaylee tomorrow to please restart your modem and just say restart my modem and restart my computer for me? And I bet you $110, Jim, that's going to fix the problem. And then you and I are going to be right as rain, okay?
Okay.
Right.
I'll do that.
You promise me. And then you let me know. You can call me back here or you can email me, Matt at The Dumb Show, and I'll give you a call and we'll figure out what's going on, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, Jim. Talk to you, brother. See ya. Bye-bye. Nice to hear from Jim Brown. A nice guy. The old Apple customer service came out of me. That's okay. You're doing just fine. Acknowledge, align, assure. We're going to be fine. We're going to get through this together. Acknowledge. Listen, I understand you're having some problems. Align. I've been there before too. Don't worry. I'm not very good at computers. Assure. We'll get through it. We'll figure this out. If you can go through life, acknowledge, align, assure, people would be so much better. People would be so much better. We'll get them helped out. We'll figure it out. We'll get them. This isn't the first time we've done this. Here's the rest of Rubio.
And the cowardly against the strong and the good. It is perpetrated by those who cannot build, who cannot create, who cannot achieve great things, and take their revenge upon the world for their own inadequacy by seeking to destroy those who can. This is what radical leftism is. It may wear various different slogans and ideologies across place and time. They can call themselves anti-capitalist, or anti-imperialist, or communist, or anarchist, or Marxist, but the fundamental character is always the same. It's always the same. It is a poisonous resentment, cloaked in the language of equality and justice and liberation, an overwhelming need to tear down what greater men have built, to wreck what is beautiful and what is right on behalf of people who are only filled with ugliness and have nothing else to offer the world. Through violence and through terror, they once again seek to impose their ugliness on all of us.
I'm sore. That chest day yesterday, holy shit. Oh. I get frozen yogurt tonight. I've been a good boy. Running 3 miles every morning, pushing about 23,000 pounds right now, about 23,000, 30-minute workout. I want to get to 64,000 pounds in an hour workout, but I'm at 23, and oh man, I'm sore. I am sore. I'm getting old. That's okay. We're gonna get her back. It's time to get back to my, like, I'm 52. Like, I was just like, I'm gonna take off a couple years when I hit 50. I'm like, I'm just gonna relax a little bit, put on a few pounds, not care. And now this is my, this is the last, hopefully 30 to 40 years of my life. Time to get serious, right? Time to just, I don't want to limp. I don't want to be able not to go downstairs. I don't want to get a ranch style house. I still want to, do the beast with 2 backs with a wife. Time to get where I need to be. And the good news is it's all there. What's great is I was in a gray shirt and I was doing chest flies and I could totally see the abs coming out again. I'm like, oh, here we go. It's like, but man, it hurts. Oh shit, it hurts. It hurts. Yeah, that is Elvis entrance music. I put it on Jesse Waters because I'm waiting for the Trump announcement. That's really good for you. That was like, name that tune. Good for you. This DSA platform is a joke. The Democrat Socialists of America. The absolute joke. Watch this.
All right, welcome back. The Democratic Socialists just unveiled a sweeping new policy agenda. It calls for a dramatic overhaul of all 3 branches of the government. They say, on the plus side, you'll probably never have to pay a bill again. Take a listen.
You're able to take a day off and not have to worry. And you don't have to have a job just to pay the bills because you don't have a lot of bills, right?
Yeah,
bills are no longer a thing because there's not for-profit businesses that are constantly trying to exploit you and trying to, put you into debt.
We wanted to lift up that demand very clearly and to state, abolish ICE and ICE detention and deportations and punish the brutality of these federal agents.
Let everybody in. Free shit.
Correspondent Madeline Rivera has all the details for us here in the DC newsroom. Hey, Maddie.
Good afternoon, Jillian. Besides those things, the DSA also calls for defunding the Department of War, reparations, and wealth taxes. They argue capitalism hinders freedom and that our current political system is not true democracy.
Why do we have a Senate? Like a lot of people are going to see that and they'll be like, wait a second.
Oh, I know. Let me make sure if I remember. For checks and balances and to ensure that all bills, appropriations, and pieces of legislation get through a bicameral Congress to ensure that they are not only judicial, but executable at the presidential level in the executive branch, and that there is funding and line item accountability for the payment of these programs. How is that? Is that good? And the fact that we don't want to necessarily base all representation on population, so every state has an equal voice. So that's why at the final line before it gets to the president's desk, 2 people from each state, 100 senators, have the same level, same authority, and same vote to put checks and balances on the House. How's that? Is that good? Is that good? Good, you little cupcake.
Why do I have what's so great about the Senate? I mean, I'm not sure about this, but I'm pretty sure the only popular senator is Bernie Sanders, and it's because he ran for president as a
No, that's the only senator you know because you're a freaking commie pinko shitface.
Democratic socialist.
The DSA is pushing for an expansion of the House, which they argue is a more accurate representation of the population. And they want the Supreme Court to be replaced by a judiciary chosen by and subordinate to Congress. The new platform comes as the DSA hits 120,000 members, which they say is now the largest socialist organization in the country.
Tiffany, I know. Listen, don't consider that I'm picking on you here, okay? Because I'm not. But I wish it was all free. That would be wonderful. Actually, no, it wouldn't be wonderful because the quality and quantity of whatever would be free would lower. That the quality of work would lessen because if people aren't paid for the work that they do, essentially they're slaves. And if they're not paid a wage for their work, they're slaves. And if corporations have to be nonprofit, not for profit, well, then therefore the expansion isn't going to take place, and innovation and research isn't going to take place. This is why Cuba is literally driving 57 Chevys. Yes, the embargoes work, but also take a look at Russia. There was only one type of car, and it took you 7 years to get in Soviet Russia. The reason why is because the means of production was by the government, and the red tape takes over. And they realized that they couldn't afford it, so they did something called deferment. They did it with cars, they did it with power, they did it with plumbing, and they put you on a deferment, which means that you waited in line for those things to happen. Ask Canada, they're doing it right now with their health care. The only problem is they started doing that with fucking food. And it was about as long to get food as it was to get a plumber or get a car. And when it's, listen, you can't get any more bread. You just got bread 30 days ago. If you want bread, you got to go over to that bread line and you get to pay 3,000% more than it was last week if you want to eat outside of your food rations. So free is a complete lie. There's no such thing as free because we don't allow slavery in the United States anymore. So there's no free healthcare because you can't make doctors and nurses and radiologists and endocrinologists and everyone else work for free because that's slavery. So therefore, when you do, quality of work goes down, quality of life goes down, and the product that they provide you goes down, which makes it not very good in the end. I know what you were saying. I love you. I wasn't picking on you.
The agenda will essentially serve as a rallying call as they try to build on the wins of left-wing candidates in recent primaries. Democrats are torn about how to tackle the rise of socialism within their party.
Loretta, if you stop smoking, I will come and see you. You need to stop smoking. I like you too much. I love you too much, and you need to stop smoking. Stop. It's easy. Just stop. Don't you? This little tiny cigarette's going to control your life. Trust me. I can do it. You can do it.
But Senator Bernie Sanders says it's been a long time coming.
We are seeing a real movement of the American people who increasingly understand that we are living in a moment where never in our history have so few people, multi-billionaires, had so much.
Tiffany says, I was just kidding.
All across this country, we're seeing a profound.
That's what you get for joking on my show.
That establishment politics and establishment policies are not working. We need change.
Oh, Bernie, shut the front
House Speaker
door.
Mike Johnson and other Republicans are sounding the alarm, framing communism as a real threat ahead of the midterms.
Let's just see what the average American thinks about this. This is the comment section. Let's see what the average person thinks of the Democratic Socialists and what they want to do to America. Why isn't anyone stopping them? The Nazis were also socialists. This is absolutely
they were.
true.
It's 100% true. Okay, somebody tell me what are the ideals of socialism. Then go ahead and tell me what the ideals of fascism are. And then tell me what was East Germany before it became socialist, communist. Put it all together and tell me why fascists didn't openly resist the rise of communism in Russia and why they accepted it so quickly, so easy, and literally overnight embraced socialism. Because it wasn't too far off from where they already fucking were. I hate when people say conservatives are fascist and progressives are left. No, it's the same freaking shoe, different foot. Fascism, totalitarianism, communism, all are intertwined together because they use the exact same form of government for all, which is to usurp the power from the people. Period, full stop, shut up. That's it. All of it usurps power from the people. Whether it's a theocracy, whether it's an oligarchy, whether it's a monotheistic poly whatever blend government, whether it is strictly socialism, progressive, doesn't matter, egalitarian, it all usurps the power from the people. A republic is the only true form where the individual rights, the power of the individual are paramount, which then ultimately means all boats rise at high tide, which is the opposite of collectivism. Collectivism puts the power and pressure of the U.S. government on everybody, so you either have equal portions of something or equal portions of nothing. Individualism means based upon your meritocracy and your effort, you will be rewarded based upon how much you put in. That's it. We are an individual focused rights republic, constitutional republic with a democratically elected governance. That's it. That's it, folks. And it's the only one that does not steal power from the people. Now, capitalism, 51% of the country is going to do well, 49% of the country is not. That is just the way of it. But if you go ahead and take any other form of government, you take any other form of economics, please tell me anyone who's better than 5% will actually do well, and 95% are literally under the thumb of the government. Please tell me which one it is. Sweden and Denmark, capitalist. Fuck off. They have social programs. They even tell you they're not socialist. In fact, they get really pissed about it. Oh yeah, don't be telling us that we're leprechauns in Irish. That's not Swedish. Oh, don't be telling us that we're communists. We're capitalists here in Sweden. Yeah. Oh yeah, it be like this. We capitalists in Sweden. Yeah. We want to pump you up with capitalism and social programs. They're not progressives. In fact, they hate it when you call them. Call Scandinavians socialists and watch what they'll do. They will literally knock your dick in the dirt. Every time some stupid commie pinko failed musician comes on my site, give me an example. Sweden's not communist, dipsfuck, and they're not socialist either. They have social programs. There's a difference between socialism, which is the means of production controlled by the government, and social programs, which means universal collected tax revenue to support a piece of legislation that distributes money to a beneficial cause for all parties. That's a social program. It's not socialism. I want to pump you up.
Is paying attention. These people want the downfall of America and everything it represents. This is a fact. They want to completely change everything and all of our founding principles. It's very sad and scary. So many people believe these people. We must stand for our republic, control just like Cuba, and you will have bread and food lines just like them. What's crazy is people believe this. There's no bills in Cuba either. This is absolutely true. You'll see people.
Okay, that's enough. So, not that difficult to understand. Here is William Latag Upham. Holy crap.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Olivia loves that. She giggles. It hits the giggle button every time I play it. William Latag Upham, 5 years in jail for saying this. This guy was running for Congress in Florida. This dipshit. With I think he has butter. It's not butter bars. I think he's a first lieutenant. Yeah, and he's in full camo with silver bars on his lapel, and he's talking about offing the president. What a dipshit! Listen to this guy.
Is it too late for America? My answer is no. It's not too late. The Lamb will be sacrificed to pay for all of our sins, and our country will be saved from the Babylon that we have become.
Oh my God.
President Trump is the Antichrist, and he will be killed and sent to hell.
Okay.
God will prevail against evil.
Okay, G.I. Joe. Like I said, just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you're not a complete shit case. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, veterans. Let's just... Not all veterans. Nope. There's some real shitbags in the military. And we would give them blanket parties and throw them overboard and put them in the water so they could take showers. There's some real shitbags in the military. Just because they served does not mean that they're honorable people. I'm sorry. I've worked with too many veterans. I worked with too many veterans in the military. I worked with veterans out of the military. And I will say 95% of veterans are amazing, upstanding human beings and patriots. And 5% are complete dick waffles. Completely dipshits. He's one of them. And that's a religious zealot to boot. I mean, just, woo. That's the guy that winds up taking out his whole family and then offs himself. No, that guy's weird. Nope, he's gone. Good luck in prison, buddy. 5 years. Good luck with a court martial. Because then not only do you have to face civilian court, you have to face criminal court first. So you have the UCMJ, which I think there's something about dereliction of duty and threatening superior officers and treason somewhere in there. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't read the Rocks and Shoals in a while. Does anyone want to educate me on what violations he made on the Rocks and Shoals? The UCMJ? Kid's in trouble. He's in deep shit. Holy shit.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Guys, I love the show so much more when we hit goal early. Do you know how nice it is? It's just wonderful. If anybody wants to butter the pot, please do. That was supposed to say, oh yeah, supposed to.
Special Officer Doofy reporting.
Special Officer Doofy. Don't bother me when I'm vacuuming my room. That kid's toast. By the way, folks, we hit 321. We hit it in the first few minutes. It was awesome. So if anybody, we're going to go into overtime. So we've already got overtime locked up. We are staying. We're going to do President Trump's address talking about the 2020 election. Oh, I just can't wait to bring this shit back up. You know what? I don't want to hear it. Arrest people. You know what you should do? You should have people with black hoods on going to Guantanamo Bay. You should have them all sitting in front of the Resolute desk, a line of them on their knees with black hoods over their head. These people had military tribunals. They are guilty. We're sending them to Guantanamo Bay. Here are their names. We won't show you their faces. They're no longer Americans. They're now citizens of Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Otherwise, I don't fucking care. Because I'm sick of hearing about stolen elections and nobody does anything. I'm sick of hearing about fraud and nobody does anything. I don't care. Clearly, he didn't know. Oh, he knows. We don't know, but we know. It's punch her right in the face. I never want to hit a woman so bad in my life, I tell you what. So we'll listen to President Trump. Anyway, if anybody wants to, just, $5, $10, $100, $20, doesn't matter. It's up to you. We would love it. We appreciate your donations. Thank you. Go over to the store. The store has incredible months. Like last month, I think the store did, I don't know, a few $1,000s. Nothing. Crickets. Absolute 100% crickets the last couple of weeks. So a little confused. Not sure I understand. Did I order the code red? Is that what you're asking me? I will tell you as a frontline battalion commander at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, that code reds are completely abolished and 100% unlawful in my command. As a commander in field, I will tell you that they are 100% integral. I eat breakfast 300,000 yards from 400,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me. So don't think you can come down here in that faggoty white uniform and make me nervous. Promote them all, I say. Because if you haven't got a blowjob from a superior officer, you're missing out, Kathy. What a great movie. You can't handle the truth. What a great movie. Yeah. So go over and buy some shirts and buy some coffee, something like that. Or don't. Just would like you guys to go do that. Got an update. The slap bitch Canada woman's back. And I've got video of her doing the deed. Oh, there it is. Want to watch it again in real time? Here it is. Yeah, that's assault. You're going to be having some fun, but here's her dipshit husband. I found this video. I don't think you guys have seen this yet. Listen to this peach. Remember how last night he was defending his wife? I don't know what I'm going to do. ICE has my wife. Oh. Give me a break. Here is her husband and what he really thinks. You guys probably haven't seen this. Watch this.
First one, boys and girls. Now, I'm going to use this one as an example. Now,
wait a second. Hold it. What the hell is going on Jesse Waters? Who in the hell is Madison Allworth? Okay. Can we stop the train? Folks, my producer's getting hold of me and says that we have to cut directly to Miss Hallworth over on Jesse Waters' show. I'm not sure why. We're gonna find out. Let's go over there right now and see what we can see. I don't know why we're coming over there, but okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Madeline Allworth. Oh. You don't need to hear anything. Just watch. It's like a Britney Spears show. Just watch it. Sorry, folks. We're back. Canada slept. We know it's no audio, folks. Okay, every guy knows exactly what I was doing. How come the women didn't get it?
First one, boys and girls. Now, I'm going to use this one as an example.
Ladies, we know the clip was silent. That was the ever-loving point. We know it would. She says, I'm going to be sleeping with a dog outside, Olivia does. You guys, she was hot. That's why there was no sound. I just was showing. How do you guys not know me by now? Oh my God, every woman. Sound? Everyone, it's all women. There's not one guy that's saying sound. Every guy is literally like licking the screen right now. Where are my men at? Okay, here we go. Let's listen.
Well, now, over the next few days, you're going to hear a lot of people say it's wrong to celebrate someone's death. It's wrong to laugh when someone gets hurt that you politically disagree with. And what I have to say to that is they have no problem laughing at us. They have no problem laughing when people are ripped from their families by ICE. They have no problem laughing when people are denied medical care, housing, food, clothing, basic human decency. They laugh when people are denied their actual even existence. These people laugh when cops shoot down black kids or murder a black person by standing on his neck. They laugh when some kid chokes out a black.
Okay, Cheryl, we're not like men. Okay, I've had a lot of women friends, and you guys are going to pretend that you're not freaky deaky and you don't have your own locker room talk. Give me a break. Are we really going to do this? Oh, you said sound, Frederick? I'm showing you what the clown said. Okay, we won't get into this topic. We'll
in the subway, and the president brings them to like a football game. They're always laughing at us. So why wouldn't I laugh when one of them takes it to the fucking neck and there's no more? The world is a lighter place now that he's gone. And I say, ha, ha, ha.
Well, your wife is going to spend some time in prison and be deported and have a criminal record and never step foot in the United States again. Ha, ha, ho. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Steven's like, we're in the spank bank. She wasn't ugly. Tell you that much. She's a very pretty girl. Okay, that's it. You guys, I have a great looking wife. I'm just joking. Yeah, he's in trouble. Good. Yeah, don't you? Karma, man. It's, some people say it's karma. I don't know. I just think the laws of the universe have a way of shining on the worst kinds of people. That's all. Good evening. I missed most of the show. I'll catch up. It's a good show. You should. Keith, we hit goal like in the first 30 minutes. And, that's good. So there you go. Here's an interesting thing. This question came up. And there's two clips. One is from Shapiro and his wife when she gave birth, which I happen to agree with Shapiro completely. And then the next one is they're asking questions. My wife loves Candace, and it's causing problems in our relationship. I've got my own take on it. I want you guys to listen to this. This should be a good one here.
I'm writing because I'm at a point of desperation, and I'm hoping you might offer some biblical wisdom or practical advice. My wife and I are both Christians, but over the past several months, she has become deeply influenced by Candace Owens' recent content regarding you, Israel, and a number of broader conspiracy-related topics. She has come to believe that you are dishonest and you are a false teacher, and even that you are involved in criminal wrongdoing. She also believes that there are vast hidden forces controlling world events, governments, media, and churches. From everything I've studied over the years, I've reached a very different conclusion. I continue to believe you are sincerely serving Christ through apologetics. Well, I don't think any human being is beyond criticism. I know I'm certainly not. I have not seen credible evidence to support the accusations that are being made against you. What concerns me most isn't simply that we disagree. It's that these beliefs have become central to our conversations and are creating an ever-widening divide in our marriage. Almost every discussion eventually returns to these subjects, and it has become increasingly difficult to have peaceful conversations. Let me pause right here. This reminds me of the proverb that talks about one of the things God hates, and that's someone who causes dissension among the brothers. All right, let me continue. I've tried listening carefully. I've tried asking questions instead of arguing. I've tried examining the evidence together. None of it seems to help. The more evidence I present, the more convinced she becomes of the evidence itself as part of the deception. It's like, yeah, there's no way of winning here, right? In fact, if you think that all evidence is part of the conspiracy, there's no way of getting outside of that to show that the conspiracy isn't true. There's no way of unfalsifying that. That's the problem. Or falsifying that, I should say. All right, let me continue with this gentleman's question. As Christians, we're called to seek truth, to test everything, and to remain humble. I'm struggling to know how to do that while also preserving my marriage. I'm not writing you to ask you to defend yourself personally. Rather, I'm asking how a Christian husband should respond when someone he loves becomes convinced of claims that seem resistant to evidence or meaningful dialogue.
Folks, we'll come back to this.
How do I continue loving my wife well?
Let's go listen to President Trump, who just took the pulpit, and we're going to go ahead and do this because I promise we might have to get to some of this tomorrow. But let's go ahead and listen to President Trump, who just arrived.
Great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murderers, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week, it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time, and your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy, because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of healthcare. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of healthcare is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure. One where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings we are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that
completely unacceptable that there's too many requests on this. You should have this shit on multiple servers, multiple backups, multiple redundancies. That's unacceptable. Like, this is a huge fuck up. I'm just letting you know. You have millions of people now who are trying to go and find this, and they get this. This is ineptitude. This is like Obamacare. If this is worthy of a national address, worthy of a national fucking address, you can't let this happen. This isn't a frickin' Taylor Swift concert trying to get tickets. You are saying that you have absolute exculpatory evidence and documents that are stating that our elections are absolutely 100% not secure. And you can't even make sure that the website's working. This is a fuck up. I'm sorry. I'm fucking pissed.
The People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data
what a joke.
in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China has signed a data exploitation unit
we can't get the info. So
this
how is
new
that
project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like
Tommy, he said it's alive now. He said go now. We went
U.S.
now.
spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought.
You want to know why it's so bad? Because there's not even any influencers that have this. You should have leaked this to the influencers, top 100 influencers, so it'd be all over X right now. It's nowhere to be found. It's bad. Stupid.
Like hell not to have it, Donald Trump to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job. And they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA.
Here's the White House app. Lindsey Graham. There's no documents. I'm on the whitehouse.gov app. There's not anything. I can't get to it on mobile. I can't get to it on desktop.
Reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration.
Folks, do us a favor. Please smash that like button. We need to get this out to as many people. We've got a whole bunch of people on, but we haven't hit the like button. Please hit the like button. It means a great deal to the show. Thank you.
Poll books and other official election websites are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned. They couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls. And yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody, and it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying
the National Defense Bill.
The states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID.
Been watching him for 10 years. First time I've ever heard him raise his voice like that, ever.
Simple as that. Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together, we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
All right. So
President Donald,
I think you should have made those. I think here's my personal opinion. I'm just going to give it to you straight. I don't know how to give it to you any other way. Plus, there's a video I really want to get to. You should have left the shit out about China. You should have done the two and the second and third part of that should have been the first, and then done China at the end. You had people's attention and they went to the website. You just lost half of your audience. Then they got there and they literally got a blizzard. It's still a blizzard. At this point, you shouldn't have done China first. It's like when he addressed the NFT trading cards and he did that first, and then he talked about his policies and where he was going to be with abortion. Wrong time, dude. Right away. Start it right away. You got millions of people watching. Everyone's tuned in. Hit them with the voter rolls. Hit them with the disparity. Hit them with the states. Hit them with DHS getting involved. Hit them with all that type of stuff. JD, thanks, buddy. Hit them. Really appreciate you. Hit them with all that stuff first, because that's and then absolutely pass the SAVE Act. Congress, unless you want to cheat, you then put Congress on national blast, right? So you're going to have, hundreds of thousands of people calling into their senators. He's activated the right people, right? This puts pressure on Tom Tillis. He does not want to attach this to the national defense bill. That's not going to do any good. Democrats will just say, okay, fine, we don't pass national defense. That's fine. We don't want to fund national defense anyway. That's not a good idea. You don't want to do that. So you got to put pressure on Tillis. You got to put pressure on the entire team, and you got to get this shit passed, right? You need to do a talking filibuster and get this fucking thing passed, whatever it takes, or nuke the filibuster, get it passed. But I would rather the China stuff. China interferes in every election. Russia interferes in election. We interfere in their elections. We know this. Who cares? There was no there in 2016. There was no there in 2020. There's no there in 2024. Nobody gives a fuck. Everybody interferes with everybody's elections. Let's talk about the homegrown stuff. Let's talk about the states. Let's talk about the illegals and the voter rolls. Those are the things that are provable and literally will get people salivating for change. It was fine. I just think the beginning should have been at the end, and the second and third part should have been at the beginning. Would have been much more impactful. Then at the end of it, let people go and surf the internet and hit refresh on whitehouse.gov for 17 hours. Not in the middle of your speech. I thought it was stupid to do it that way. I will be critical of that, because if I'm on his staff, whoever was responsible should be fired. That is a blunder. You cannot do that, because it links him to Obamacare. People remember Obamacare. And whether you like it or not, people don't like that. They don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate when QVC does it. They don't appreciate when the Eagles and Garth Brooks go on sale. And literally in 12 seconds, they're done and they can't get a ticket. That sucks. And people are going to feel that way. How do I know that? Because I felt that way. So go after them as hard as you possibly can. That's all I can say. Do exactly what you did. Keep talking about this. The China thing essentially said China interfered in our election, and we have no idea if they interfered or got any votes. It's Russian collusion all over again. It's a nothing burger. I'll look at the documents. I'll see them sometime. I'll get them mailed to me. I'll read them. I'll let you know. If I find something that's intriguing, I'll share it with you tomorrow. But I do want to finish the rest of the show, and we do have a few more minutes, because I promised I would get to some things. So let's do this. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? Or do you agree? Good speech, second and third part at the front, put the first part at the back. We don't need a recap on where we are with the economy. If this is important, you got people's attention, hit them with it fast. The statement should have been, we are going to secure elections in this country, and this is how we're going to do it. Here's our 5-point plan. These are the things we're going to be doing. We're going to be empowering the states, recognize them, encouraging them with their voter rolls, and we are going to take great lengths to ensure that the state departments are involved in this, that FBI is involved in this, and we get this work done, because this election is one of the most important in our history, and we are not going to make the same mistakes we made in the past. Simple, easy, awesome, go. You know what I mean? Why don't Trump go after Thune like he did Massey? Because Senate business is Senate business, and Massey called him out and stood on the dais with Marjorie Taylor Greene and called Donald Trump a pedophile. That's why. So when Thune does that, I'm sure that Donald Trump will call him out. But Thomas Massey is a simple little fuck and doesn't deserve anyone's respect. He's paid off by Arabs. He's a piece of shit. He hates Jews. And I've been calling him out for 4 years, and he took money from Soros. So I can't stand Massey. He got award for foundation for the Arab Coalition League, which is funded by Soros. Massey's a piece of shit. He needs to hire you as his speechwriter, Matt. I wish he would. I wish I would. Listen, I love him. I love the man. I love him. I love what he does. but I'm going to be critical of him when his administration fails him. He should have made this speech. If he had one gravel in his voice 2 days ago, you should have pushed the speech. What you should have done is make an announcement and have Secretary of Defense come out and say, listen, A, B, and C happened in Iran. We need to get to this news. We have very pressing information, but we're going to move it. You make sure he has lemon all day. You take him off the trail. You do whatever you can. You handle him. You take care of him. You get his voice working. You give him some lozenges. You give him some steam treatment in his vocal cords, whatever it takes. He should sound strong and magnanimous. But now what are they going to say? He sounded weak. He sounded frail. He sounds tired. Iran's weighing on him. Now the vote, he knows he's going to lose, so he's going to try. They have narrative fucking all day long on him. Political commentators are going to crush this. And you gave it to him. You gave him the link to tie you to Obama. Do you guys remember when Obamacare fell apart and what all the Republicans said? Well, what are they going to say now that watch, all the talking points will be this. How do I know this? I've been doing this a long time. A long time. A long time. That's why. Let's get to a couple quick videos that I wanted to show you. One of them was this big tech and bank fees, and I found this to be really intriguing. Yeah, Massey's a piece of shit. He went with Marjorie Taylor Greene and stood with signs that said Trump is a pedophile. He's a douchebag. He's an opportunist. His Liberty score was all a mockery. The guy would vote just to get the initial vote, get the Liberty score, and then he would go ahead and roll over for a pack of cigarettes in the joint and sign whatever bill, whether it be Biden. He's the one who pushed the Build Back Better bill through appropriations. You know that? He could have stopped it, but he signed it. He could have blocked it like Thune's blocking the Save America Act. He didn't. He buckled. And in the end, he protested, got a few things that he wanted, got a handshake with the president or got some fundraising, and then went ahead and buckled like a belt. The guy's a piece of shit. I understand that. What can President Trump do? Do what I just said. Put the pressure on the senators. Get a public rallying cry and keep talking about voter rolls that has millions of illegals on it. It's a fact. Talk about dead people on voter rolls. Talk about the systems that they have in place where they have people on Social Security. We prove that through Doge, how we have people actually earning benefits. Talk about the fraud in Somalia. Fraud runs deep in America, and unfortunately, we are turning into a third world country. These are easy talking points that nobody can protest because they're correct. Nobody can disprove them because they are correct. We know they're true. We know voter rolls. We know there's dead on voter rolls. We know there are people who are out of state, no longer in residence on voter rolls. We know because these states won't open up their voter rolls. Call those states out. Right now, here's the 17 states that refuse to release their voter rolls. Here they are, and they just happen to be Democrat. What are they hiding? Dude, this is not, go have some, if you can't do it, have someone like me go prosecute it for you. Put me up on that fucking dais. I will cook those states. And not only will that, I will say the president right now is proposing legislation to cease all federal monies to all of these states from here on out until the election, until their voter rolls are up to federal standards. Period. Full fucking stop. That's what you do. And you play hardball. And you're going to lose votes for it. But you know what? If this is really an emergency and this really is a national security issue, then what are we waiting for? Play hardball. Cut off all funds, federal funding to every single one of these states. That includes any type of emergency funding, any type of bailout, any type of roadways and bridges, any reconstruction projects, any loans, everything. Lock all federal monies until they secure their elections. It'll be 24 hours a day on the news. Trump will get exactly what he wants. This is a nothing burger. Because it wasn't done right. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to be honest. Here is this video that I wanted to show you. And we got two more and then I'm going to get out. Big tech, banks, and fees. This one's really interesting. Take a second and listen to this. Because this shows you, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but when I want to run an ad on, Apple, if I do it on my phone, I have to pay a 15% increased fee on Facebook. But if I do it on my desktop computer, which is also Apple, I actually get no 15% fee. Big tech is punishing Facebook, which screw Facebook, we don't care. But unfortunately, Facebook passes it on to us. And so as an advertiser, we get hit. We're also talking about banking fees. So banking fees. Banks are coming in here and are being forced by regulation from the federal government to pay these fees to these big tech companies for processing and purchasing. And this is incredibly bad. Listen to this. This is a very interesting video.
Big tech is at it again. Multi-billion-dollar companies looking for another free ride while everyone else picks up the tab. This fight is over something called Section 1033. Most people have never heard of it, but you need to know what it is. Here's the deal. Companies like PayPal, Venmo, crypto platforms, and budgeting apps want access to your banking data. That's fine. If you authorize it, well, then they should get it. The problem is this. They don't want to pay for the access to the data. And this is where you will all get hosed. Banks have to build and maintain the secure systems that make all of this work. They pay for cybersecurity. They pay for the infrastructure. They pay every time these tech companies constantly ping their systems for data. And it isn't cheap. Now, the government, our government, is inserting itself into a battle that should be between the banks and big tech. Instead, anti-free market government overlords want to tell the banks they must provide that data for free. Now, that's bogus. Because big tech already makes billions of dollars each year.
Correct.
These companies can afford to pay their share. And consider this. If banks are forced to absorb these costs, who do you think is really going to?
Us. That's exactly what I just said about Facebook. So not only do they go ahead and get those fees, they want them to do it free, and then they're still going to charge those fees to us. That's what they're going to do. This is a profit scheme.
Foot the bill. You will. Those costs won't disappear. They'll show up as higher fees, fewer free services, and more costs passed directly to consumers. And you can't blame the banks for doing that. They're in the business to make money after all. So let me make one more point about the big tech freeloaders. These are the same companies that spent years censoring conservative voices, suspending accounts, debanking them because they don't agree with your right to free speech. Now we're supposed to force the traditional banking system to subsidize these same companies? Give me a break. This isn't about protecting consumers. It's about Washington forcing one private company to subsidize another private company. If big tech profits from your banking data, they ought to help pay for the system that gives them access to it. In the end, let the free market settle it instead of government picking winners and losers. Big tech's big government protection needs to end. No more free rides, not for big tech, not for anyone.
I really like that video by Grant Stinchfield. If you haven't seen his stuff, American News Network, I believe, and GrantStinchfield.com is what was on the tag in the lower. I just think it's an excellent video. It explains in very clear terms that banks make money and big tech companies make money, but the banks are taking a very large burden by literally being pinged millions of times a day all over the world. And they're having to pay for that infrastructure. They're having to pay to keep that up. It's just like what happened in Washington, D.C. at the whitehouse.gov. Somebody's got to pay that bill. And that internet bill gets expensive. When people hit my site and I get a push, like some of the articles we used to put up, it gets busy, you know, and it can slow down the site. Well, the banks have to control that infrastructure. So I'm not sympathetic to banks. I think banks are a money scheme of their own. And I think you should keep your money more liquid or keep your money in investments. Or commodities, but you know, banks have a purpose, and more banks are being forced by the government. I mean, look at the loans that they had to take with Bernie Mae and Freddie Mac and all that, Fannie Mac and all that bullshit. Look at what they forced to do. They essentially had to take underprivileged, removed all type of loans. Remember when there used to be loan officers? You have to go in with a tie. You have to be able to speak articulately, show your business records, show your finances, show recommendation letters on good faith. And then a loan officer would say this is a high risk or a low risk. And a loan would be done. Well, not anymore. Now they're all done online. Look at everything we purchase. It's no longer done in person. There's no handshake process. It's all done on a fucking computer, which has actually lowered the cost of overhead for these big tech companies. And do they pass it on with savings? No. We still have to pay $200 to Amazon to go ahead and get free shipping. Okay, that's fine, but is that really worth it? For some people, it's not. Otherwise, then you're paying the shipping. You might as well just get up and drive to the store, but we're paying for the convenience. But look at what they've done to banks and loans. They forced this, the housing market bubble, the major crash that we had. It had everything to do with high-risk loans that we were giving out to people who had no business doing loans. What's absolutely incredible is if you take a look at the loans from like 1945 all the way to like 1980, 1976, most of those loans, about 98% of them had down payments. But if you flip that on its ear and look from 2000, 1995, 96, all the way up to like 2008, look at those loans right before the crash, and it was actually flipped on its ear that like 85% of them had no money down. Well, that's a high-risk loan, and you're giving this to people, and we knew that it was going to crash. Well, this is what they did to the banks, and the U.S. government comes in and puts these regulations on the banks and says, you will do this, or else. Well, enough of that. They already have the government regulation breathing down their necks. They now have go ahead and have put the banks in jeopardy. Now you've got the freaking big tech companies that are literally holding their hands out. It's all a big, what is it? Bernie Mac and Fannie Mae. Is that what it is? Did I say Bernie Mae? I put them together. Point is, all we're looking for is some consistency where the consumer does not get consistently bent over the table. And this is big tech doing what they're always doing. That's it. I thought you guys would want to see that. Here's another one. Which one was I going to show you? This is the last one, and then we're gonna get out of here. Polish immigration, Polish president immigration. Take a look at this. He was asked about immigration and is Polish nationalists, and are they essentially xenophobic, homophobic, whatever. Watch this.
So, Mr. Togzinski, you're here for the Save Europe Act for immigration. Why do you support immigration?
Because I want my future daughter to be alive, not raped and killed. Is that enough? Is that a good reason?
In Poland is quite a protected country from immigration.
What do you mean quite? It's zero. We don't have illegal migrants. It's not quite protected. We did not let them in. None. Zero.
It's because you are afraid of what you're
becoming. No, we're not afraid. We're
Because
smart. We are brave men. Look at me. I'm not afraid of anything. We are brave. We are strong. We are not political correct. We don't give a shit. We take care of our families.
Some parliamentarians of the European Parliament are afraid to support the immigration.
No, they are greedy. They are looking for cheap labor. That's what happened when Angela Merkel started this madness. This is why they pay the price now, because of their greed. They are greedy. They don't care about future generations. They are thinking about themselves, about today. It doesn't matter what's going to happen in 10, 20, or 30 years. They don't care. We do. That is the main difference. Their civilization and our civilization is completely different. We are thinking about future generations. Can you see the difference? We are patriots. They are hedonists. That's the difference.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
I love that guy. I mean, yeah. Listen, I will tell you one thing. I like that Trump raised his voice a little bit. You know what I mean? I do. Yeah, Poland. There's a reason why World War I and World War II, that's why I was so fearful with Ukraine, is keep Poland out of this. I've been saying that for how many years? Since this started, I said, if it's going to start anywhere, it's going to be in Poland, where Russia puts out a stray missile that hits in a Polish city or Polish town and kills Polish citizens, and welcome to World War III. I don't like Poland involved in this shit. I like them being nationalists and isolationists. Continue doing just that. Do not make a World War I and World War II mistake again like Poland did. Folks, can you tell I'm tired? I'm tired. A lot of working out, 3-mile runs plus lifting. It's, and it's good. It's healthy. It's great, but it's a good kind of tired, but I'm a little tired tonight. It's been 2 long nights in a row. I don't mind the overtime. I think it was great tonight, and it was fun being with you. Olivia and I will be here tomorrow. Don't forget that. Please stop by the Don't Unfriend Me show at thedumbshow.com. Pick yourself up a shirt. Represent the show, man. Wear it with pride. We would appreciate it. We have Lisa Regina on Tuesday. We've got Barry Morgenstein on Friday, July 24th. We have John David Gregory, busy week. And then Chris Martini. And then Tyler Fish will be on here. We also have several people coming on, like Chad Prather, and a few other amazing people. Stick with us and keep watching us. Please share, like, and subscribe. Where are we going over on Rumble there, Tamara? Where are we going? Matt, you look ready for a 24-hour Steam. No, I need 24 hours of Olivia. That's what I need. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Good for you, Keith. Oh, I don't need a bicycle, bro. I run. I don't need a bike. Yeah, I'm not a big bike guy. I'm 6'4". I don't like bikes. I love running and lifting weights. That's what I love to do. My cardio's just fine. Sherry Star says, what did Sherry Star say? Poland is sneaky. Huh. Okay. Anyway, that's it, folks. Where are we going? Okay, going to Handy. We're going to Handy for a roundtable follow-up. I'll join us. I'll join you for a few minutes, and then I got to get the hell out of here. I got to go get my frozen yogurt because I don't want to do it too late at night. So let's go over to Handy. Let's get us there. Thank you guys for wonderful donations. We appreciate you. We hit it. Good night over on Rumble. She's going to set us out here right now. Stay with us. I'm glad you like your bike, man. That's awesome. All right, so let me end over here on Rumble. And let's go over to Handy. If you guys don't know what we're doing here, you're like, what the heck's going on? We're doing a raid right now. And a raid means we're sending everybody from here over to Handy News.
For a lot of that, those websites where people get help, look for help, AI might be sending itself out to work.
Thank you for calling.
There's a whole social media that all these AI agents have that they're allowed to be on, that they all talk to each other and plan stuff. It's kind of crazy right now when you start digging into what they've just let this thing become. Thank you for that gifted sub, Rob. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Olivia Dumb got it right on.
But Robbie says, what do you mean my wife is in Aruba with the AI bot? I paid for it.
Bartok is taking your wife to the Caribbean. Bartok has ordered a sex change.
The Nether Knight looks thrilled to be on.
One chick that gave her AI boyfriend access to some sort of sex toy or some shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that so? This is where we're at.
Y'all best be believing in cyberpunk dystopias. You're in one.
NFT is what? A non-fungible token, right? Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
They're asking.
You could almost say when I make these custom title cards, they could be considered NFTs because they're unique, one-of-a-kind pieces of art. I own them, and they're mine now. If I were some crooked like e-boy scammer dude, I'd be selling these after each show. Own the title card from the night.
The reason why we raid other channels, folks, is pretty simple. We do that to kind of get our name out there. We help out them. They help out us. Our Rumble channel has grown since then. I don't like hearing so much that our Rumble has been way too many ads. I don't like hearing that because we don't make shit off those ads. So like Facebook, they put a ton of YouTube, they put a ton of ads on, and we don't get any money for it. So it's kind of bogus. It's Handy News over on Rumble. Just type in Handy News. But we've been going to a lot of different sites lately. It's fun. It's good to see people. We bring over the dummies. They go over there. They follow them. They come back and follow us. So listen, folks, I'm going to go get some rest. I appreciate y'all so very much. We'll talk to y'all soon. Good night, and thanks for watching The Dumb Show. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.